build this mountain for freedom. We'll build this mountain for freedom. All right, this is number one, seven?
Yeah.
Number 7.
Yeah.
I did that song because around this time I'm getting ready to talk about 68, my great pendulum started really swinging a lot. June of 68, I signed with Warner Brothers, and that was one of the singles. It was called Freedom Mountain. I was able to bring my past with the Freedom Riders and stuff forward. And so June of 68, I signed with Warner Brothers. July of 68, I had to go home because I was trying to play basketball and I was having trouble. I had to keep taking that little contact lens out. I only had one. And I'd take it out and spit on it, if you will, and put it back in and play a little bit, and then something wrong again. So I decided to hell with these New York people. I'm going back to see Dr. Chandler. So
were you seeing someone in New York also?
Just periodically, because I had the glaucoma. You know, you had to go.
See, I learned new stuff.
Yeah, just go in to have them check glaucoma. And there was a pretty girl there. Only kidding.
Yeah.
So I go to see Dr. Chandler, and he examines me, and he's like really distraught. And he says down, I thought he was going to cry, and he's finally said, I know how you want things straight across. You know, he said, you have the worst extreme case of glaucoma that I've ever witnessed as long as I've been a doctor. And that it was at such a level that it could possibly end up in, I think this is how he worded it, it could possibly blow right out of your eye. Now, he may not have used those words, and I expounded on it, but so
that's how you
he said you probably have 6 to 8 months before you're blind. And I stood up and said something, and which is in the book, you'll read it.
But we can't repeat it.
But I didn't stand on a chair and say it. Anyway, I got a frog. This is Louisville, Kentucky. We got the crud here in this town. So anyway, I went back to my mom's house. I was staying down there. My sister had picked me up at the airport, and I was not driving anymore. I probably could have, but not in New York or New Jersey. I mean, I never seen a road where there was 11, I'm exaggerating, 7 or 8 lanes. I'm going, oh my God, I'm not driving here. So anyway, Mom begged me to stay and leave New York and come home because I shouldn't be in New York blind. And I told her, you know, you taught me that defeat was no option. There's no way I'm going to fail. And if I don't stay there, Mom, I'm failing. I'm giving up. And you told me never to give up. So she agreed that I should go back. And what happens when I fly back? I fly into Kennedy. And the person who's supposed to pick me up didn't show up.
Oh, no.
So here I am in Kennedy Airport, you know, no one to help me. So I come out of the gate area and I stand down that, what do you call that, corridor? Yeah, corridor. Yeah. I laid my guitar against my leg and pulled my one pants leg up and stuck my thumb out. And some woman just came up and she says, well, something tells me I shouldn't do this, but what are you doing? I said, well, I'm almost blind. The person supposed to pick me up didn't show. And I need to get down to the gate to get my suitcase and then get to a bus so I can get down to 39th Street. She said, whoa, that's a good one. Okay, grab an arm. And we're talking. There's no way she's believing I'm blind. I never seen blind anybody anyway, even now. So I get down there and there's a guy for the thing. And I flew all the time, so he knew I was. He runs up and says, oh, Mr. Richards, I'm sorry. Someone called and said they couldn't pick you. Oh, my God, I feel so horrible. I said, well, she's taking good care of me. And she said, is he really blind? Well, I don't know if he's totally blind, but I know he's losing his sight. She turned and said, well, I'll tell you what, you had to latch on. I've got to get to 39th Street as well. So she got me down to the bus. We got our suitcases on and got to 39th. And she invited me to share her cab with her. And then she invited me to come visit her, you know, go out with her. And so it turned out to be a good thing. So you learn how to hang on. So long story short, I'm back to New York in my apartment, and I'm distraught. I never show my feelings about sadness and stuff to anybody. outside, I always show the good side, the funny side, and I always feel like joking makes up for anything. And I wanted everybody to be comfortable around me and not, worrying. I can't stand sympathy. And I don't even know if I like empathy, but maybe I do a little bit. But
He's learning from a counselor.
I know what huh?
You're learning from a counselor.
Yeah, what I did. Yeah, she's a counselor. Why do you think she's with me?
There's no hope for you.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to even try to. Maybe she shouldn't
Back
be
on
on
task.
these. I don't know. Did you hear that?
So you
back?
started trying to prepare.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
the
the
eventuality.
side of me that Mama built in me, I don't know how many weeks it was, but I suddenly said, God, I'm going to be blind. I'm not going to see anything. And the first thing I thought of were colors. So I'm not going to go through the story with the leaves and all that's in the book. I'll touch on one. I went to a kid's store and got a color, not a coloring book, but crayons and some legal pads. And I went back to the apartment and I had to hold it up to like this close to even see what the color was. And then I wrote it at the top of the page, and then I scribbled the whole thing of that color. And I put them on my wall so I'd have something to look at to remember colors. So I can't believe when I look back now, because a lot of the stuff I said in the book, I had blocked out, totally blocked out. But anyway, that was the beginning of me having to challenge that. The next challenge was, getting around. I mean, New York was a great town to go blind in because to the very last minute, I could still go out and, get a cab.
Most of the time.
Yeah, and there's a story of me. It's in the book. You will laugh like crazy.
You want to tell that story?
I guess I could. How much time we got?
Oh, we've got about 3 minutes.
Okay.
But yeah.
So I'm out raising my hand up. I'm listening for cabs because there's no way I can see any of them. I'm about 99% blind, but I'm 95% blind. So I keep listening, and I raise my hand up and whistle, and cars keep going by. Suddenly, I feel something real big in front of me, and this black dude goes, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to hail a cab." "This is a damn garbage truck." I said, "Well, I'm about 95% blind and too proud to get any help, so I'm just out here trying to get me a cab." "Hey, let me get you a cab, brother." And he gets down out of that cab, and this dude is 6'10" and 425 is what he said he weighed. He may have weighed 800 pounds. I don't know. He said, "What's your name?" I said, "Turley." He said, "I'm Mark." He said, "Stay right here." And he steps out. This huge black guy steps out and goes, "Taxi!" You hear all these cars stopping. "You!" And he points at a guy who comes over. Turns out to be a little skinny, older black man. He puts me in the cab and he said, "Where are you going?" I said, 54th and 7th. Now he gets in front of that guy and says, "How much that going to cost my brother?" He said, "About $4.95. Says, "Wait right here."
That's
and he
a sign of
runs
the
back.
times. That's a sign of the times.
Yeah, it was. He runs back to believe it or not, 1 year later, everything jumped up a dollar more. So he runs back to the cab. He comes back. He's got pencil and paper, and he sticks his head, barely gets it in the window, and looks at this guy's name and his numbers and all that stuff. He writes something else. He tears off his now. "Turley, this is my name and number. You, if this costs you more than $4.95, you call me." And he walks away and gets in his truck and drives off. So the cabbie pulls out into the traffic, and I don't hear him pull the meter down. I lean around and said, "Aren't you going to turn the meter on?" Now, if this had been a white guy, it'd have been a racist thing, but an old black guy. He said, "Hell no. You think I want King Kong coming after me?" And it turned out when we got to my destination, he actually got out of the cab and got me to my door and all that. As he's walking away, "Now don't you call him." So that was a great story. A lot of those happened. I really hung on to a lot of that, learned how to ask questions. If I was walking along the street looking for, let's say, 325, and I look up and I say to someone coming by, "Is that 325? It's New York." "Yeah, that's it." Walks on. I had to learn that wasn't 325, so I had to learn to go, "I'm almost blind. Can you tell me what the number is above that door?" And then they'll tell you. New Yorkers aren't nasty. Like, is that it?
And how many wrong doors did you go up and knock on before you learned that?
20, and four of them were
Well,
quite
you're a slow
successful.
learner.
The 4 of them were quite successful.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're out of time now.
So we'll see you on the next segment.